Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well. It is Sunday here. It was very windy and of course very cold. We are in the dead of winter here in South Dakota in January, and it's been 20 degrees below zero or more. So I ordered some groceries and they were set to be picked up this morning. I got the text, I went out. All I had to do was drive up to the pickup place and they loaded up my trunk, and what a difference. I didn't have to get out and face that wind, that bone-chilling wind that goes through your pants, you know, and trudge through the store and check out and then trudge to the car and all that. It saved me a lot of energy. So I want to do that more often. And I had a kind of a lazy day. Well, I recently came across a video and I thought I would talk about it. I am still planning on what I'm going to do for Patreon. I don't know how long I'm going to do the Patreon. I do want to specifically talk about things that I've experienced and things that I have learned. And again, this is not a pleasant subject, but hindsight is 20/20. And if I can avoid ever getting into a situation with someone that ever tries to treat me like this again, I will know better. And so I'm going to share something that I just recently heard, like within the past hour, kind of started to make me very sad, okay? To be honest with you, I kind of wanted to cry. But then I had to remember there's always a silver lining. And I talk about that, and you do have to remember this, okay? There is always a silver lining. It just can be very hard to see it or to wait for it to finally happen. This was about gift giving. This expert on YouTube showed a clip where a husband who was a narcissist gave his wife a present that was in between two pieces of plywood and had a whole bunch of spindles and things, and she had to unwind a bunch of stuff off of every single spindle so she could separate those two pieces of plywood to get her gift. Now, the counselor had pointed out that she had actually been so conditioned to believe that this man was quirky, okay? That she went along with the game, which was designed to humiliate her. It was designed to devalue her. And when she finally got the two pieces of plywood apart, the only thing that was in there for all that work that she had to do to get to her gift were 4 books. And I don't even know if they were 4 books that she was really wanting or not, because that's beside the point. You give a gift because you want to show appreciation and consideration for someone for being a kind, helpful partner in the partnership. You don't then make them work to get at it. Now, a gag gift is a little different. Many years ago, I bought my father a pair of shoes he really wanted. And I put one shoe in one shoe box and another shoe in another shoe box. And I put that box in a bigger box. Now, if you've ever seen that kind of a game, I just saw a cartoon where children were receiving a gift, and if they unwrapped it and the gift was there, they got the gift. Otherwise, they had to pass it down, and then the next person would unwrap. And if it was still wrapped, they had to keep passing it down until the person who finally got the gift unwrapped could get the gift. It's sort of like a secret Santa. That was not designed to humiliate or devalue a child. It was a gift-giving game. This particular clip was unbelievable. All these spindles that were sticking up with all these nuts and bolts on them was sadistic. designed to give that narcissist husband sick pleasure in making her spend I don't know how many minutes to finally get to her gift after she had to pull off these heavy piece of plywood. And he did get sick pleasure out of it. He laughed. She laughed because she was conditioned to believe that he was just a quirky guy. But the counselor pointed out, no, that is not what was happening. I began to realize, as I've been going back in my memory, I never got a gift. Believe it or not, I never got a gift. I cannot remember ever getting a gift. The first few years that we were together, he would take me out for my birthday to eat. And then it stopped. I never got anything for Valentine's Day. I tried to explain to him what it was. That just made him not want to do it all the more. I never got any gift for my birthday, and I never got any gift for Christmas. If I did, it might have been once. I don't remember. But I had to sign his name to any gifts that I purchased for any of our household or family members. There were some other things he did that were very hurtful as far as his excuses as to why he wasn't buying a gift. Okay. The silver lining. After I left him, and I had received a small amount of child support, we were not talking, a couple of years were going by, I still didn't know what in the world had been happening all those years. I just assumed that he was greedy and he was passive aggressive. After a few more years after that, as my life was improving, he began to start showing me more regard, more consideration. He wasn't having to pay for the child support anymore. He started getting generous. He started buying me groceries. He started coming around. He'd give me a ride to the grocery store if I needed one. He would help me with car repair if I was really stuck. And I ended up kind of just figuring out how to deal with my situation by myself. I lost my car, and then I had to sell my house, and that was the best thing for me. But he continued to offer to help me just if I would spend time with him. They don't let go. They do miss you. And I had really done more than my share throughout the partnership. I had to put up with a lot because I had no choice. I had adopted his ideas. I had been contributing financially 50% for a long time, and until I didn't anymore, which was later. And so, yeah, he's showing up to help me when I really need it, or taking me out to lunch. He was retiring. No, not yet. But still helping me with, car repairs, or do you need gas, and filling up my tank, and very, very helpful. At first, I didn't really want to take much from him, and then I began to realize he owes me. He really, really owes me. All those years where we went from okay to poverty because he refused to let me save or try to invest any of our money. He just griped about bills that had to be paid for the home we were living in every 45 days. And it wasn't that much, but it wasn't much. But it was too much for him. He went to work because he was collecting credits, as I've said before, for Social Security, so he could go back to his country, I found out later, years later, to collect a check. I was his retirement plan. There's another knife in my heart. This would happen from time to time. So I'm accepting the gifts. I'm accepting, and it was hard. It would be really hard for me to have to sit in his vehicle and be with him, going these places, and it was kind of like sandpaper on my skin. And after a little while, I would tell him, I just want to go home. Because he kind of liked to try to keep me with him for longer. So as time went on, he started getting more money. He was still working, and he would give me cash. He would still take my car over to get gasoline, fill it up, help me with whatever repairs needed to be done, take me to the grocery store, pay for groceries, all of this for my time and attention. What I have heard is that a true narcissist, when you marry them, it's pretty much like a done deal. They do not feel like they have to show you any type of romantic regard anymore, and you become what's called a utility. You're a source of energy, you're a source of supply, whether it's your cooking, your cleaning, your making of the appointments, you're talking, with family members, spending time with whatever the extended family members are, right? And I've been revisiting his astrological chart, and I've seen a few things, and I'm learning even more. That is unfortunately the only way to describe it, until I finally just said, I'm not giving you any more of my energy in the form of money. I do a lot of other things. I've done more than my share. I finally decided that this was my payback, was all of this supply that he was providing for me, the gasoline in the car, the going out to eat for lunch or early dinner, taking me to the grocery store to buy me groceries. I took it because I never got it when we were legally married. Now, I don't really know what all of the signs would be indicating that in an astrological chart. I can only tell you what I have seen. And that would be, he has Saturn in the 4th house, which causes a lot of restriction, a lot of binding, and a lot of heaviness, seriousness, okay? And it does have to do with finances. So he was very stingy, very greedy. He did the bare minimum. And then, of course, when I stopped giving my energy in the form of my money, he would threaten not to pay the bills. And of course, as I have said, I would tell him, okay. And nothing ever came of it. I let him know that I'd have to call the proper authorities to let them know that he was just not going to be doing the basic things he needed to do for the home and the security of the people within the home. So, yeah, and along with the Saturn, there was an aspect of Jupiter in his 6th house, which was Scorpio. So he had an overindulgence in the pleasures of the flesh. And then with his fixation on finances with Saturn in the 4th house. And that also indicates fatherhood. There's a fatherly energy there. And this restriction of the father and the boundaries could be either the father was distant emotionally or geographically. Wasn't there very much, or maybe wasn't there at all. And in his case, father wasn't there at all. We managed to stay afloat, but without the proper saving and investing to hedge against inflation, once you get down to a certain point, it's very, very difficult to try to manage and get back up again. So that's just what I wanted to say about that. It was very interesting that I had to realize now that this so-called silver lining of me getting paid back, with him really showing me regard to spend time with him, only happened after I left him. So that is my story today. I don't want to bum you out. I'm trying to make you more aware, and I am grateful for the fact that I am more aware of these things now, and that there are certain signs and there are certain behaviors that you can look for and you can notice in someone that you're starting to get to know, and you're dating on a regular basis, and or decided to live with, and you have to get straight in your mind already what you deserve and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. And that is, if someone is refusing to ever show you any regard on your birthday or on Valentine's Day, and is very, very selfish, okay? Just very, very selfish. There's your big red flag right there. Then you need to make sure that you're always doing something that you can set aside some money, right? Have your own cell phone contract, have your own mode of transportation. Because sometimes people don't show their true side for a long, long time. All of a sudden one day they decide they don't want to work anymore. And it can take a lot of courage and heartache to have to go through all the ridiculousness that you have to go through the state to get a divorce. All right. That's it for this video. I'm going to make another one in response to a viewer comment. Take care. See you soon.